All right, Libra, this is your December 2020 love, horoscope, and tarot forecast. This is Arrows of Love. My name is Ryan. During this channel, what I'm going to do is pull some romance oracle cards for you and clarify with the tarot. Before I do that, I'm going to review the stars in the sky, which will help us pin down those energies in the tarot. So Libra, the sun right now, the vitality of the energies right now, it's all sitting in your third house of communication, short distance travel, sitting in Sagittarius until December 21st. And what's interesting about the sun in Sag right now is that we're going through eclipse season. So there's going to be a solar eclipse, total solar eclipse, on December 14th. And those are sitting on the nodes of the moon. So there's a little bit of destiny almost connected to these particular solar eclipses. And then we just had a lunar eclipse sitting in Gemini. And that was November 30th. So that's all sitting in your ninth house. That's long distance travel, higher learning, the higher mind, personal beliefs, self-promotion, and spirituality. So those are the themes, big endings and big beginnings over the next 6 months on third house communication and ninth house learning, the higher mind and the lower mind. So you could be doing some learning here, not necessarily love houses to be frank, but you know, everyone's got to go through these houses, so it might not be your turn just quite yet, Libra. Looking at Venus, that's your ruler. Venus rules Libra. Right now, Libra or Venus is sitting in your second house of Scorpio. Scorpio, second house, that's money you make from the business you own, money to make from the business you work for. That's resources. Again, not necessarily a love house. But it is a money house. So you might be focused on your money, business. Venus in Scorpio is at its detriment. Venus actually rules two signs. It's Libra and Taurus. But Venus in Scorpio, that's on the opposite side of the wheel from Taurus, so it's at its detriment right now. Doesn't necessarily bring the most pleasant things. When it's at its detriment, it's restriction, delay, or it could just be really over the top, but it's got a false bottom to it because Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, and those are hidden things we don't see. It's in mythology, it's the underworld. So my advice on anything related to money and communication, things that are going around right now with communication, those full moons, especially with Gemini, that's an air sign. And Gemini rules the third house of communication. So a lot of messages, it's kind of the chatty Cathy full moon. So be very clear about your communication and try to weed out anything that doesn't feel right. Use your intuition, Libra, because there could be some false information going around too. Saturn and Jupiter, I'm going to talk about this just briefly. They've been camped out in your fourth house of foundation, home, family, Saturn's been there since December 2017. That's 3 years. And Jupiter's been in there for about a year now. So there could have been more restrictions and delay on the fourth house or reworking of the fourth house of foundation. What do you really want in a relationship? This also deals with the home. You could be moving. Uranus is sitting in Taurus. So, that brings up shifts and surprises, and Taurus is your 8th house of intimacy. So there could have been surprises in intimacy lately. And Venus just opposed Uranus just a couple weeks ago, about a week and a half ago. So there could have been some endings on that front, or you could have met someone who kind of bewitched your senses. Uranus does that too, brings people in, very different from your usual type, maybe from someone of a different background, religious, ethnic, race, someone that you wouldn't necessarily go for, but they bring you in anyway. That's a possibility with Uranus. But Jupiter and Saturn in the 4th, you're definitely reworking foundations, and they're sitting at the late degrees of Capricorn right now, about 28, 29 degrees. It's about to move out on December 21st, right when the sun moves into Capricorn. So that's again 4th house of foundation, but as Jupiter and Saturn move out of the 4th house, they're going into your 5th, and that is the romance house. That's fun, that's games, that's children, that's investments, and like I said, and it's also romance. So Saturn rules Capricorn, and it's the traditional ruler of Aquarius as well. So there could still be some delays and restrictions on the romance front until Jupiter, the great benefic, the expander, brings gifts, separates from Saturn, which will take a couple of months. So it's slow moving, but it is definitely coming. Libra, if you're looking for love, keep going, lay those foundations, rework what it is you actually want. If you're in a committed relationship, you might be doing the same thing, reworking the foundations of your relationship so you can bring in that 5th house loving energy. That all occurs over the next couple of months. But you got to work with all of those eclipse energies first. You got to let go of what's not working so the universe can bring you in what it is you truly want and what's aligned with you. Last thing I'm going to say is Neptune sitting in Pisces. It's in its dignity. It was in retrograde for the last couple of months. Neptune's in it takes about 165 years to go around the sun. It's sitting in your 6th house of work and routine. Again, not necessarily a romance house here, but the rose-colored glasses are coming off in those particular areas. So you might be reviewing that area as well in your life. And I'm just going to put in a plug here. 6th house is also the house of open enemies. So, if you're dealing with anyone that's a little seedy, that's 6th house energy. And you got to deal with that. That might come out in other ways too. Venus is making a trining aspect over to Neptune and Venus. We're making trining aspects. I think it's today or tomorrow. So there could be some news with money and work. But like I said, not a lot of romance going on here, but it's coming. You got to give it some time. All right, so what we're going to do, Libra, this is a general reading. Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Take the messages that resonate with you, leave the rest. Don't get too hung up on gender in here. Pay attention to the energy of the card and not necessarily the gender, okay? Energies can also be vice versa for cross watchers. Keep in mind. All right, so 2 cards from the romance angels. Let's see what's happening with you, Libra. Wedding. The situation involves marriage. All right, well, maybe you got something on the horizon, Libra. Release your ex. Yeah. The time has come to clear your energy. Could be divorce. Could be a separation, could be a breakup. Eclipses, like I said at the beginning of the video, bring endings and new beginnings. So especially with the eclipses, if you haven't released that, that's not in alignment with your highest destiny, because the solar eclipse on the 15th is on the nodes of the moon. Total solar eclipse, that's destiny ridden. The universe will remove it if it hasn't been cut out. So it could be divorce, release your ex. Let's clarify with the tarot first. The tarot. This could be a couple different things, but this is the time of reflection and introspection. And like I said, those eclipses are happening on your 3rd house and your 9th house. So it's your personal beliefs. Maybe this relationship isn't aligning with your personal beliefs anymore. 2020 has changed a lot of people, and it's reworked relationships to its core. So maybe now is the time that you're communicating these feelings with your significant other. And like I said, these energies can be vice versa. So keep that in mind. It's the higher mind and the lower mind. So you're probably trying to balance the two, Libra. You tend to keep your emotions guarded. You're an air sign. You're a thinker first and foremost, but you're also the great balancer. It's harmony. You look for harmony in your relationships. You like to keep things harmonious, and you are the sign of relationships. So, we'll see what happens. Like I said, with the Uranus opposing Taurus there a couple weeks ago. Sorry, Uranus opposing Venus a few weeks ago. That brings in some unstable energy, shock and awe sometimes. So we'll see what happens. All right, Libra. Let's clarify what these two cards are all about. Again, wedding and release your ex. The two could be separate. We'll see what the tarot has to say, but could be some separation here. All right, first card. Oh, there it is. Death. King of Swords, that's you. It's not a physical death. Knight of Wands. Eight of Swords. Six of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles. Okay, Libra. Got some interesting stuff here. Yeah. Let's start with the death card. Okay, so this is not a physical death. There isn't anything here that indicates that, but it is next to the wedding card and release your ex. Death is symbolic of release, rebirth. This is Scorpio energy. Venus was just in Scorpio. Venus is in Scorpio right now. It's at its detriment. Like I said, it doesn't always bring the most pleasant things in love. So you could have already released, this partnership already could have happened, and you're on the mend right now. Otherwise, you're getting ready to make a decision, and something's got to come to an end. This also aligns with the eclipse energy. It's endings and beginnings. We have to harness this energy in order to truly align. And like I said, there's destiny involved in here. So the best thing you can do is not fight it. Let it go if it's not working, if it's not fulfilling, and realize that new doors are opening for you. But this is definitely an ending of some type here. And your very next card is the King of Swords. Swords energy is air energy, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, and this king is clarity of mind is what comes here. He's making his decision. He's got his sword in his hand, and it comes down swift. He's weighed all of the options. He has all the facts in front of him now. The Gemini. That Gemini lunar eclipse right around over the weekend, facts could have come to light or are coming to light that helps you make this decision. Next card here is the Knight of Wands. This can kind of be player energy. The Knight is very passionate. It's fire energy, Sagittarius, Leo, Aries. I have a feeling this might be who you're leaving. Or on the flip side, this Knight is coming in. So it could be an ex coming back in, someone that you left behind coming back in, trying to stir up that passion again. Venus is making some interesting aspects over to Neptune, dreamy, nebulous Neptune. So, that could bring in old romantic partners. They could be sending messages, wanting to hook up maybe, who knows. But this is definitely someone coming in and being that these eclipses are all sitting in that third and ninth. It's definitely communication, possibly from an ex or vice versa. You are leaving this Knight of Wands. Yeah. The next card is the Eight of Swords. This one, I'm getting the feeling that you're having a hard time making a decision, and you don't really have all the facts in front of you. Things may have come to light, but you don't have it all in front of you just quite yet, or you just don't know what to do. You are mentally going back and forth and going around, and you see that she's bound and she's blindfolded. So she doesn't have all the facts, and she's living in her head. You're probably trying to make a decision whether or not to release the ex. If the ex is coming back, you're making the decision whether or not to respond, or how do you deal with it? Do you want this person back into your life? You're definitely having mental energy about this and trying to decide what to do. Your next card is the Six of Pentacles. And notice that the scales, the tarot always tells an interesting story. The man, it's a service card, essentially. This is sixth house, right? We just talked about your sixth house with Neptune. And the sixth house is also a house of service. But notice he's holding the scales. That is you, Libra. You are the scales. And the six can be a rebalancing. You need to rebalance something in this relationship in order for it to work, or you need to rebalance the mind. There could have been an imbalance in your relationship. That's more like the situation, and you're wondering whether or not the effort that you've put into it is what you're getting back. Is this a reciprocal relationship? Are you getting enough into it that you've put into it? You're getting enough back. This is also symbolic of exes coming back. So you might get messages. Someone wants another chance. Eight of Swords, not sure what to do about it just quite yet, but you have the Miser card, Four of Pentacles. Notice that he's holding his pentacles close to his heart. You're being guarded, and you should be. This is clearly a situation that probably needs release, and if you're not sure about it and you're tiptoeing toward it, chances are it's not going to work. There's something holding you back. You're not getting what you needed from this person. You released them for a reason. Could also be stingy with your feelings too. If you do hear from someone, you might ghost them and not respond. It's going to be a little stingy. So let's pull one more card for the outcome, Libra. See how this ends. Yeah, Nine of Pentacles. It's you moving to the garden, collecting your pentacles. This is a very happy card. What I'm going to say is, if you decide to leave this behind and not go back to it, this is the result, okay? This is a very happy card. This is the new beginning. This is Saturn, Pentacles. It's Earth energy. That is Saturn and Jupiter moving out of Capricorn into your fifth house. If you've done the work, if you've completed the karma, if you've done the lessons that Saturn has bestowed upon you over the last 3 years. Saturn bestows the biggest gifts out of any planet. It's not Jupiter, it's not Venus. Those are benefic planets. But if you've done the hard work of Saturn, this is where it comes in. This is universal gifts. I think this is where you're going, Libra. You're leaving the situation behind. You might not have all the facts in front of you, but you will have them soon enough. And I think you'll see that over the next couple of weeks with these solar eclipse on the 14th and Venus moving out of its detriment on the 15th. So I hope you found this helpful, Libra. If you're looking for a personal reading, be sure to click on the description box below. My email's down there, and we'll talk to you next time. Good luck.